coming to you live from Dish Address GA099253 Kukumemla Accra. This is Joy News today with me, Mupisa Sibidi. Coming up, Education Minister holds before Parliament over government's controversial one teacher, one laptop policy, which has led to uproar amongst some teacher unions. More as a minority threatens to push for a full-scale parliamentary probe should the minister fail to provide comprehensive answers to their nagging questions. Also, 7 cases of Omicron variant infections recorded at the community level. That's the latest from the Ghana Health Service after Ghana recorded its first case a week ago. We'll hear from the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, who featured on the probe last night with MFA Apau. Also in this bulletin, ECG restores power to Odumasekrobo in the eastern region days after the youth there impressed on the IGP to use his office to prevail on the electricity company to restore supply during his visit to the community. We have business, sports and showbiz all in this package. Stay with us. Thank you for choosing us. In our first story, Education Minister Dr. Yao Educhum has been hauled before Parliament over government's controversial one teacher, one laptop policy, which has triggered division and agitation amongst teacher unions. Deputy Ranking on the Education Committee, Dr. Clement Park, who has filed a question for the Minister to answer, alleges the selection process in the award of the contract is fraught with corruption, arguing the company selected and the procurement and distribution of the laptops has no track record and was only registered this year. He also linked the laptops to a high-end technophone, insisting they are not fit for purpose.
If you look at what we are witnessing, the complaints that aggrieved teachers have brought forward, and you truly look at the discourse and the information available so far, they have every reason to be dissatisfied with the current arrangement. First of all, when the Vice President launched this initiative, some of us were on record to have indicated that the issues surrounding how the initiative came to be, the company, the 70% versus 30%, and all of that, created something that one would consider as fishy. Fishy. And if you look at...
Is that what you believe now, that there's something...
Well, and that is why I have filed a question to Parliament. Well, we have heard the teacher unions, we have heard government, we have heard the members who are supposed to be the beneficiaries. And so once the beneficiaries have an issue with the benefit, that presupposes that there is a problem. Because ideally, this is supposed to help them. But the way and manner in which it was done, and they've talked about issues of transparency, the fact that they were not informed with regards to the...
But we are told that the leadership of the union made this arrangement with government in the provision of the one laptops to every teacher.
Yeah, but why do you make arrangements for your members without their full consent, without their buy-in, without consulting them? This is the problem. Because if they had done that, I don't think that the hue and cry from the teachers would be justified. But because they did not include them in the process and carry them along, because the process seems to be a bit murky, not transparent, that is why we are where we are. And that is why some of them have gone to court. Some of them have petitioned the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Some of them have come to me personally. It is one of the reasons why I filed the question, so that we hear, how was the company selected? What is the track record of the company? Why were the teachers not informed that monies were going to be advanced to the company which was supposed to supply the laptops? They should have known all of that. And we also have heard concerns about the quality of the laptops. I've seen videos where some of them have already broken down.
The laptops, yes. The brand new laptop?
Yes.
For the teachers?
Essentially, many of the teachers are saying they are not fit for purpose. And if you ask anyone who is IT savvy, the capacity of the laptop in terms of the specs, storage, memory, and what have you, is just about the same as a high-end techno phone. And truly,
you're liking the laptop that you are giving to the teachers to a techno phone?
It is the capacity. I am not saying it. Ask those who have done, and I've seen the research. I've been given specs of the high-end techno phone and the specs of the laptop. And so that also raises questions. Even if we are going to expend the colossal amount of money, and if you look at the price and you do the numbers, 285,000 pieces. It works up to slightly below 450 million Ghana cedis. That's no small money. I would have wished that we just go and get fit for purpose, high-end, durable, brand recognizable laptops for our teachers.
Dr. Park also observed that the minority will push for a full-scale parliamentary probe into the selection of the company and the procurement of the laptops if the answers provided by the minister are unsatisfactory.
You have reason to believe that there has to be a probe. So I am not saying it. I don't have any reason to question the integrity of the leadership of the teacher unions. I don't have any reason to doubt the commitment of government. But when you have these factors hanging, this deal smells fishy. And the only way we can get to the bottom of this is to get the minister to respond, whilst the other processes as initiated by the aggrieved teachers are ongoing. I can tell you that there is a lot of advocacy for me to file a private member's motion for a whole parliamentary inquiry into this issue, because we need value for money. Whether we like it or not, the state is supporting this initiative with 70% of the total cost. So the people too must get the assurance that what has been done gives value for money.
The leadership of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAG, has indicated their readiness to embark on a nationwide strike on January 6, 2022. This is on the back of failed promises made to them by government concerning 9 months of arrears owed to them. Speaking earlier to Benjamin Akakpo on Joy News Desk, National President of the CTAG, Prince Obinghima, indicated they wanted swift communication and action from government to prevent a likely industrial action early next year.
It signed the MOU, and as we speak, government hasn't officially communicated to us in writing if they have any challenge. So for you and I to engage in guesswork as to whether government has any challenge, we don't want to get along that tangent. We are hopeful that we're still within the period. December hasn't ended. This is a current call. This is a gentle reminder to government that, hey, you have responsibility, you have to meet the terms of agreement that you signed onto, so that we don't get to January where we take people unaware, because parents will expect that their words will be in school. We want that around this time, all stakeholders who are interested in teacher education will take pains to advise government to do the needful.
Just to clarify on this matter right before we move on, so are you saying that if you get paid for a tranche of 3 months or maybe even 6 months, once the rest is not paid, you will still embark on this strike in January?
Once we've not been communicated to, if government has any challenge paying what is supposed to be paid or respecting the terms of the agreement, we take it that government is cool with that, because we signed on our own free will, considering the funds available, considering processes we had to go through, and considering CTAG to what we had to. Or rather, if we all have to admit, the work of a college tutor is enormous. To train somebody, to mentor somebody, coming into college, sometimes with even the perception that is because of job situation, I'm coming in within a semester or two, I'll move away. Right. To be able to mentor such person to accept, or such a person to accept teaching profession as, something that he has to do at the end of the course, it's just not easy. So when we do all these things and the letter that is due us is not being given us, it's worrisome.
To health-related stories, it's official, the Omicron variant, which is largely driving a fourth wave of the Covid-19 pandemic in other countries, is now spreading within our communities here in Ghana. At least 7 cases were detected after the latest sequencing of samples collected from the community. Last week, health officials found 34 cases of Omicron among travelers who are arriving at the Kotoka International Airport. This led to the introduction of new guidelines to prevent the further spread, including a no vaccination, no entry policy. But even before that could take off, the Ghana Health Service says the Omicron strain is already spreading inland. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaje, disclosed this to Emefa Apo on The Probe.
We saw the first group of about 34, and that was those at the airport. At the time, we had sequenced about 66 community samples that were negative. Okay. The current one is giving us some Omicron in country. I think about 7 of them have been reported within the community sample, but that is to be expected because we are letting as people enter. They are more likely, we may be having people who are incubating, so we have seen some now. But still, the leading variant is still the Delta among the community.
Okay, so you've talked about 66 communities. Earlier you said 34, but I was asking if we know how many exactly in terms of Omicron after the sequencing, because the earlier communication was 34. Has it increased? Do we know how many exactly?
The 34 was for the 116 at the travelers that was done. At that same time, we had done about 66 community samples, which were labs within country, and that's 0 for Omicron. The second batch, and I think about 40 or so, we have seen some Omicron in country.
And you say that's a 7, so in addition to the 34, that's all?
That's what we know.
Okay.
That's what is recorded.
Okay. Well,
so as you go on to do your sequencing, you may find some. The most important thing is that it is in the community, and so that's what the caution for us to be more careful.
So are we chasing it? Do we know we are in control? 7 in which communities you would want to tell us?
The most important thing is that all the preventive measures still apply. As to whether it is prevention through the mask wearing, hand washing, social distancing, they still work. Vaccines still work. Even though there is some evidence of some escape, it still works. So all the measures that we have still applies. What we need to do is intensify it and make it more effective to prevent transmission from one person to another.
ECG says it has restored power to Odumase Krobo and its environs. The announcement was contained in a statement issued by the Tema region of the company. The power restoration comes days after the IGP's visit to the community, following tensions there resulting from disagreements between the indigents and the electricity company of Ghana, ECG. The utility company closed its Krobo district office following threats from some youth groups after a recent demonstration. Residents of Somanya, Odumase, Wong and its environs have been without power for almost a week. During the IGP's visit to the area over the weekend to assess the security situation there, the residents urged him to intervene in the matter.
Honorable IGP, I wish you use your high office to persuade ECG to switch on the lights for now as to resolve the issues. Because in the night, the dark alone is a security threat. Yes, the way people are stealing people's items, things, is a security threat. Somebody can be in the dark and misbehave. Excuse my language. So please, I want you to use your high office and other leaders to persuade ECG to switch on the light for now as to resolve the issues. Thank you very much.
Because of this outage, in fact, things are not being well. Both security aspect, maybe economic aspect. Because you realize that shops are collapsing. People who deal in this kind of frozen foods are collapsing, and everybody is crying. In fact, please, we beg you, whatever you have to do, just with ECG, and this light will be resolved back to us. Whilst we look into the matter, we'll be very happy. Thank you, sir.
Yes, both don't say that we don't pay but our bill is too much. So we are pleading if they will claim to solve that issue. For instance, to me, I was paying 100 cedis, current bill. All of a sudden, 1,000 plus, 10,000. So we don't know where that kind of problem came from. So that's the whole issue.
While it appears the appeal by the residents through the IGP has worked, the Tema ECG PRO Setua Minister tells Joy News power was restored Sunday late afternoon.
Late afternoon yesterday, but not all the areas have power because some of them have faulty transformers. So we are still working on replacing those transformers. So a majority of the customers in the enclave have had power since late afternoon yesterday. Those without power currently are those with issues concerning the transformer, which we are still working on with the support of the security agency.
How far would you say negotiations have gone? What is the current state of negotiations?
Negotiations concerning what specifically, please?
So I know, for example, there have been interactions with the people on the back of violent acts, part of which resulted in the ECG taking that action. So how far in terms of deliberations with the people, in terms of maintaining peace? That's what I mean.
Well, we've had some engagements with some people. We have always stated that we are open to further engagements. We are hoping that this issue will be resolved. And we also entreat our customers that if you have any issue with a bill, please present it to any of our offices rather than taking an entrenched position of deciding not to pay bills and actually asking us to cancel the debt. I mean, that is not feasible. So if there are any issues to be resolved, please come by our offices so we can all work through it. But to take an entrenched position and to base it on a certain memorandum of understanding, which we still do not have a copy of, that would not be fair. Besides, it's business. We are trading. If we are giving something to you which you have used and gotten whatever benefit from, it's your responsibility to pay up for it. So we've always stated that we are open for whatever level of engagement, and we are still open to engagements to ensure that this issue will be resolved.
All right. You took the wind out of my sail when you started talking about the bills and all of that, which is another thorny issue. But apart from the aspect of calling people to come to your offices to present their bills so that it can be worked out, what are you doing to prevent these bills getting to the people moving forward? Some were saying they were getting 100 cedis, now they're getting bills in the thousands. What is ECG doing about that?
I would have to. We haven't spoken on Joy since these issues happened. So if there's a bit of time and if you would permit me, I would have to give a bit of a historical background.
Just try to make it a bit brief still. Thank you.
Pardon me?
Just try to make it a little brief.
It would depend because your question is kind of deep. Okay, so we've had these issues and the period for which the bills have been problematic, so to say, is between 2014 and 2017. So the company decided that we'll ring-fence the 2014 to 2017. We'll set it aside for further investigation. Mind you, ECG has investigated and cleaned the data. PLC has done same. But then some of the customers still insist that all these works have not gone on. And this problem was as a result of billing software we're using, a technological issue. And this happened across everywhere ECG works. It was not just the Kobo area. But then they claimed that they had a certain memorandum of understanding with the government, the Nkrumah government, which prevents them from paying electricity after 50 years of the construction of the Akosombo Dam. We have asked for
the national president of the Conference of District Directors of Agriculture, Alhaji Mumuni Ibrahim, has charged government to issue a directive to the various municipal and district assemblies to release a percentage of the district assembly's common fund to the Agric Directorates for the funding of various Agric-related policies.
The third biennial conference of the District Directors of Agriculture was held in Tichiman under the theme Decentralization and its Impact on Agriculture. National President of the Conference of District Directors of Agriculture, Alhaji Ibrahim Mumuni, bemoaned some of the challenges agric directors go through in accessing funds to aid their various activities.
A lot of challenges as a result of we're not coming together happens one district to the other. Some of them includes the release of our funds, sometimes from the MMDAs to our district department of Agric to work, comes late. The money is released and picking it from the sub-CF and then to the department to work takes a longer time.
However, called on government to issue a directive to local assemblies to release a quota of the Assembly's Common Fund for the funding of agric-related policies.
We suggest that there should be a directive from central government. There should be a directive that at least 2%. I'm not giving a figure for government, but what I'm saying is that looking at it, we have done a lot of work on it, and we know how much averagely planting for export and rural development in a district you spend. So if even the common fund comes and they give us a percentage, that this percentage we are giving it out, but that should be a directive.
Chairman of the occasion and Bono East Regional Minister Kwesi Edujan noted that the conference would help improve the performance of the directorate in terms of providing the needed support to local farmers.
Yeah, this conference is very important, and the theme that they are looking at, the subject, the impact of decentralization, in respect to the agriculture sector. What's the impact? It makes it very effective. It brings the services, of MOFA closer to the farmers, makes it very possible for them to access the necessary services, use, education and sensitization. That comes with the work of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Guest speaker and Dean of the Faculty of Biosciences at the University for Development Studies, Professor Elliot Haruna Al-Hassan, emphasized that a decentralized system will empower various district directors of agriculture in terms of rendering better services to farmers within their localities.
Decentralization, therefore, assigned the full task of policy implementation to you, the district directors. You also, through this program, have some logistics that helps you to reach out to farmers in the field, to provide requisite technical support and transfer knowledge, technical knowledge for better agronomic practices, etc. Clearly, without decentralization, such resources would have been controlled from the center, with the attendant problems of bureaucracy, red tapeism, etc.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichiman.
On the 11th of December this year, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, marks 75 years of providing humanitarian and developmental aid to children worldwide. Here in Ghana, the agency has spent almost 40 years out of the 75 years in its global outreach, advocating for better healthcare, education and sanitation-related issues. As part of commemorating this feat and impact in Ghana, Joy News' Emefa Atiamo Eli toured the Jirapa Health Center with the UNICEF country director to assess the impact of support to the Ghana Health Service in that district. That report was first aired in 2019.
The COVID-19 pandemic has proven challenging to health facilities across the country, and the Jirapa Health Center is no exception, particularly with regards to maternal and child health care. Coupled with inadequate infrastructure and limited space, a number of services, including postnatal care, have had to be provided in improvised circumstances and spaces. To ensure quality care is not compromised and deliver optimum care for mother and child, UNICEF is collaborating with the Ghana Health Service in advancing various forms of support to the facility. A number of equipment and materials for the care and well-being of hospital staff have been provided for the health center. While providing care, the Ghana Health Service and UNICEF are critical about adherence to all COVID-19 protocols.
What's the weight?
5.7. It is weighing day for children under 5. All clients will be attended to on the compound of the facility. It is largely due to the limited space and the large numbers and absence of a newborn care unit at the Jirapa Health Center. With the provision of mobile weighing scales, height measuring devices and record books, the nurses with their protective equipment and sanitizers diligently attend to every mother and child as they report. This is of utmost delight to the facility benefactor, UNICEF Ghana. And Claire Dufay is the country director who is very much concerned about staff adherence to protocols while delivering care.
And we as UNICEF, we have disseminated guidelines on how to continue ensuring the provision of services during this pandemic. So of course there are some protocols we have to follow, including social distancing between the patients. So today they were weighing a baby, they were measuring the baby, they were checking the child and maternal health booklet where you have all the immunization records. I just want to mention that this booklet is really critical, and I'd like to call on the government to make sure that there is a budget line to cover the cost of this booklet.
The Jirapa Municipal Health Director, Florence Angson-Wenning, says the facility has not recorded any maternal deaths in the last 3 years. She's optimistic the provision of a NICU would greatly improve their performance.
What we need more here, especially on child health, is our neonatal and intensive child health unit, our NICU. We have a NICU at the hospital. It's so small, and people knowing where Jirapa is and what St. Joseph Hospital have done, we have them referring many babies, preterm babies, babies who are sick. They refer all of them to our neonatal and intensive care unit, but it's so small. We are not having enough incubators. We are not having enough phototherapies. So we have us putting 2 or 3 babies in one phototherapy machine or an incubator. So this is an area we will need.
In a related development, their counterparts at the Gulu District Hospital are excited following the commissioning of the newly constructed neonatal and intensive care units. Emilia Sechi is the senior staff nurse in charge of the new facility. She says they expect more cases following the opening of the newborn care unit at Gulu.
Because before the NICU came here, we were referring most of our cases to Wa Regional Hospital, the municipal hospital before. And we realized that from this place to Wa is about 4 hours. You have to use the public transport. So most of the mothers were not going. You give them the referral letter, they wouldn't go. So before you see them, sometimes you'll be walking around and you meet the mothers in town and you ask about the babies. And they will tell you the babies are expired because they couldn't go.
Meaning they are dead?
Yes, they are dead. It was really disheartening.
You're still watching Joy News Today with me, myself, Mapisa CBD. Up next is business.
Good afternoon, welcome to business. My name is Darryl Kwao. A commemorative gold coin has been launched in the name of the Asantehene Otumfuo Tutu II for his peace-building endeavors, including the decades-long Dagbon crisis and election mediation. The 24-karat coin, according to government, is an initiative to also promote value addition to Ghana's gold minerals locally. Prince Appiah was at the special event that launched the coin and now reports.
The event brought together about 600 high-profile persons from every sphere of Ghana's gold and natural resource industry. The commemorative gold coin was meant to celebrate the Asantehene as a pillar of peace in the country. Governor of Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, explained the essence of the coin.
The gold coins will be of no monetary value. By that we mean it would not be a medium of exchange and not exactly a legal tender. As a result, the commemorative coin is not expected to display any face value to avoid the risk of being confused in circulation.
The event, organized by EON3 Group, PMMC, and the Lands and Natural Resource Ministry, supported. Sector Minister Samuel Abdullahi Jinapor says the initiative is to promote the value addition of gold locally.
This partnership is in accord with the far-sighted vision of the distinguished President of our Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to transform our national economy, which is dependent on the production and export of raw materials, to a value-adding, industrialized, and prosperous economy. The addition of these gold coins, embossed with the image of His Royal Majesty, will go a long way to help support our efforts to promote the jewelry industry.
The commemorative gold coin was also to celebrate Asantehene's socio-political role in Ghana's economy. Here is Asantehene Otumfuo Setutu II.
It is my hope that the gold coin we launched tonight will convince the nation that there's room for more innovative ways to help us to maximize the basis of our nation's wealth. Asanteman will play its part in this exercise and will encourage other traditional leaders to harness the creative talents at their disposal to make it a worthy global effort.
The Asantehene reiterated the need for the country to work to protect the peace it is currently enjoying.
I ask our leaders from all shades of political opinion, our social commentators who control the space of public discourse, and captains of finance and business whose enterprises depend on the climate of success. It is time to stop the nation bleeding to extinction. The good people of Ghana take pride in their commitment to democratic governance. We have been proud to be an oasis of peace in an isle of torrent, and our record as a thriving democracy has served us well and made the chosen destination of many investors. What we dare not forget is that democracy is not a static object. Nothing in statecraft really is. Democracy is a work in progress.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia acknowledged Asantehene's contribution to Ghana's peace.
Well, in other news, the Hydro Cooperative Credit Union of the Volta River Authority says it will continue to leverage technology to meet the demands of its customers. According to the board chairman, Joseph Asari Ketuku, the move will ensure efficiency and sustainable growth of the company. He was speaking at the 41st Annual General Meeting at Akosombo over the weekend. Hydro Cooperative Credit Union witnessed a slight reduction in profit to 5.5 million cedis last year, from 6 million cedis the previous year. This was as a result of the challenges and turbulence within the financial sector and the economy. However, it declared a dividend of 30% out of its profit for shareholders. Here's Board Chairman Joseph Asari Ketuku.
The board has, over the past 8 months, worked with the sector ministry, the Department of Cooperative, KUA, and other business partners, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, the 41st Annual General Meeting is being organized under the theme Sustaining the Hydro Cooperative Credit Union Business, the role of the major stakeholders in the midst of COVID-19. It is imperative to know that we have witnessed various crises that has challenged Ghana's economy. The cleanup of the financial sector that was undertaken by the Central Bank and Securities and Exchange Commission in in 2019 caused the collapse of some commercial banks whose licenses were revoked. Some financial houses were also closed, including microfinances and savings and loans. This led to the lock-up funds of businesses, individuals, and credit unions members who were also affected. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, whilst individuals and businesses were still counting their losses, the situation was further exacerbated by the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic, which went through a series of phases, and now the phase of the Delta variant. It has profoundly affected businesses and the way of life. No wonder this AGM is being organized virtually. The food for thought for all of us here is that how do we sustain our credit union business model, of which Hydro Cooperative Credit Union is not an exception, in the face of the changing economic, social, technological, and regulatory environment.
Hydro Cooperative Credit Union is owned by the staff of the Volta River Authority with the mission of helping members to attain a lifetime financial freedom through provision of unique blend of savings and loans at competitive rates. James Ishen's report for Joy Business. Right, there's more business news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. You can go there for the day's latest. Up next, sports. Do stay tuned.
Let's do some sports now on Joy News today with me, Muftar Nabila Abla. Richard Comet says he feels he's let down his country after losing to Vasily Lomachenko in a fight that could have set him up for a world title bout. The Ghanaian lost via unanimous decision despite touching the canvas in the 7th round. He feels he could have done better. Now let's turn from football news now, where some 54 members who signed a resolution requesting the Ghana Football Association to convene an extraordinary Congress to review parts of the statutes of the Football Association say they will proceed to Congress with or without the approval of the Ghana Football Association. Despite the GFA's claims that their resolution does not meet the requirement of the association statutes, especially Article 33.2, which demands that only more than 50% of members can call for an extraordinary Congress, they insist it will be convened. Wilfred Kweku Ose has been explaining to Joy Sports why they've demanded for this.
We've had 2 congresses. There hasn't been any contribution whatsoever from a member with regard to the amendments to the statutes or any regulation. All the amendments had been submitted by the Executive Council or the Presidency. When you look at 25 of the statutes, it specifies that Congress is the supreme legislative authority when it comes to any amendment or anything in relation to the law, whether you are drafting a new one here and there and whatnot. It's Congress that it has to happen. And over the period, this is what has been happening. When our own colleagues took over, they have, one way or the other, avoided amendments coming from congressmen. So they have done convocation, and convocation has been made to such an extent that members are not allowed any time for you to suggest amendments. The reason why this resolution has been made is that there has been infractions on the corporate governance system at the FA, consistently and persistently by the current Executive Council. We are constantly referred to Article 39K of the statutes, and that is very categorical. It states that the current Executive Council, by their powers vested in them by the statutes, can approve and issue regulations governing
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. Now, India's Hannah's Sandhu has been crowned the 70th winner of the Miss Universe pageant over the weekend after a brief absence from the usual gig. Steve Harvey returned to host this year's event, which was broadcast live on Fox and Telemundo from the Universe Arena at the port of Eilat in Israel. Meanwhile, Ghana was well represented by Na Moko Commodore. Here are highlights of Ghana's impressive performance at the event. To end with, Mountain Amejofe in the Volta region is the highest human settlement in Ghana. The community, which is at the base of the mountain Gemi, boasts of breathtaking scenic views and a conducive environment for hiking and camping. A US-based software engineer, Dr. Emmanuel Ame, believes the community where he comes from is yet to tap and fully benefit from its tourism potentials.
Amejofe means origin or home of humanity, or where humans come from in Ewe. Amejofe, the highest human settlement in Ghana, is situated north of Ho in the mountainous region of the Ho municipal district of the Volta region. It is presently located in the newly created Ho West District Assembly. Amejofe is located at the foot of the Gemi Mountain, a rocky mountain that forms part of the Ikuapem Togo range and can boast of 4 natural gifts: the Ute Falls, Mount Gemi, the cool and varied weather, and the beautiful landscape. Finally, at the base of Mount Gemi here at Amejofe. I'm here to meet the manager for the Amejofe Ecotourism Center, Dr. Emmanuel Ame. Doc, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What is the history of Amejofe and what is the meaning of Amejofe?
Amejofe in the Ewe language means Amewope Jope, where humans come from.
Where humans
come from. Yes,
okay.
Amejope. For the travelers going into Togoland, they have it as Amewope Jope.
Okay.
So when the travelers and traders were hiking through here to descend to Togoland, this is where they would rest for the others to join them. That is Amewope Jope. I live in the United States, in California, Los Angeles. I'm a dual citizen of Ghana, definitely born and bred in Ghana, Accra, specifically Dansoman. Tourism is a big industry, and the world needs to go around to see what else is in other parts of the world. And my interest is...
Well, on that note, we end Showbiz. Babs, I think you should visit Amejofe. It's one place that you haven't been, so, well, you're invited.
I hope you'll take me there, Becky. Yes? All right. And that's where we end Joy News today. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Mapito CBD. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.